The sky was calm over Earth's biggest city. People walked in the streets, children played, and life went on like always. But far above, strange ships appeared. They were huge, dark, and unlike anything Earth had seen before. These ships blocked the sun and made a quiet fear grow inside everyone. The world's armies watched from their bases. They knew something was coming. The leaders called for their best soldiers to prepare. But this time, it was not just young fighters. Earth's old veterans, the ones who had fought wars long ago and retired, were asked to return. They were tough, wise, and full of experience. The younger soldiers looked at them with respect, but also with surprise. They wondered, why do we need old men and women? Can they still fight? Far away on the big ships, the alien leaders smiled. They had traveled many light years to reach Earth. They believed their soldiers were the best fighters in the galaxy. They thought Earth's defenders were weak and untrained. Their message was clear. We will teach Earth what real war means. The aliens sent a loud message across the world. Their voice was cold and strong. Earth, you think you are ready. You think you can fight us. You are wrong. Your warriors are weak and your weapons are simple. When we arrive, you will see the true meaning of combat. Earth's leaders did not reply with words. They prepared for battle. The veterans gathered in old training grounds. They dusted off their old gear and started training younger soldiers. The veterans knew this war would be different. It was not just about strength or weapons. It was about heart, skill, and experience. One veteran named Marcus looked at the new recruits. He was tall, with scars on his face and hands. His eyes showed pain and wisdom. Marcus spoke softly but firmly. Younger ones, you think this is just a fight. It is not. This is survival. The aliens want to break us to make us weak. But we will not let that happen. We will show them Earth's true power. The recruits listened. Some were scared. Some were eager. Marcus began to teach them old tactics, things that no new computer could replace. He taught them how to move quietly, how to watch and wait, and how to fight smart, not just hard. Days passed. The aliens sent small teams to test Earth's defenses. They thought it would be easy, but they met the veterans and the trained soldiers. The battles were quick but fierce. Earth's defenders used traps and tricks. They surprised the aliens again and again. The aliens were shocked. These Earth warriors fight with more than weapons, their leader said. They fight with their minds and hearts. Back on Earth, the veterans prepared for the real war. They trained day and night. They built new weapons but used old lessons. They talked about past wars, the mistakes they made, and the lessons they learned. Every story was a lesson. One night, Marcus walked alone on a hill looking at the stars. He thought about the battles ahead. He knew the aliens were strong, but he also knew something the aliens did not understand. The will of Earth's people. The will to fight for home, for family, for life. As dawn came, Marcus returned to the U camp. He gathered all the soldiers. Tomorrow we face the enemy, he said. But we do not fight just with guns. We fight with our spirit. We fight as one. This is our home. We will protect it. The soldiers cheered. The veterans nodded. The younger fighters felt the fire in their hearts. Then the first real attack came. The sky darkened with alien ships. The ground shook with their weapons. The battle was about to begin. The morning light barely touched the horizon when the first signs of battle appeared. Far in the sky, the alien ships moved like dark shadows, silent but full of power. On the ground, Earth's defenders waited quietly. The veterans stood with their young soldiers, eyes sharp, muscles ready, and heart steady. The alien army was confident. They believed this fight would be easy. They did not know Earth's veterans. They had heard stories, but stories were different from reality. As the ships drew closer, Earth's defenders held their positions, knowing that the first move could change everything. The air was still. No one spoke much. The silence was heavy, like a deep breath before a race. Suddenly, a small group of aliens landed far from the main camp. They moved fast, expecting to find weakness, but they found the veterans waiting. The veterans did not rush. They watched carefully, using their eyes and ears like old hunters. The aliens tried to scan the area with their machines. They sent small drones flying, hoping to find the soldiers hiding. But the veterans were clever. They set traps made from simple things: broken branches, loose stones, and carefully placed wires. The aliens' drones fell into these traps one by one. They were confused. Their machines were smart, but the veterans' experience was smarter. From a distance, Marcus and the other veterans saw the small fight starting. They smiled quietly. "This is only the beginning," Marcus said. He walked slowly toward the group, his steps calm but sure. The younger soldiers followed, learning from the veterans' calmness. They saw that war was not just about fighting. It was about thinking, moving, and waiting. The small fight lasted a long time. The aliens tried many tricks, but every time they thought they had the advantage, the veterans surprised them. The young soldiers began to understand the true meaning of battle. It was not just about power, but patience and intelligence. Back on the alien ships, their leaders were watching. They were not happy. "Earth's veterans are different from what we expected," one said. "We need a new plan." The aliens decided to send a larger force. They wanted to break the defenders quickly before they learned more. They sent fast ships to attack the veterans' camp directly. The camp was ready. Earth's defenders had worked hard all night. They built simple walls, dug trenches, and placed hidden lookouts. Every soldier knew their place and duty. The veterans shared their knowledge freely, guiding and teaching. When the alien ships arrived, the defenders did not panic. They used the skills they had learned. They moved like shadows, hiding and waiting for the right moment. The young soldiers saw how the veterans used quiet signals and signs to communicate without words. It was like a secret language. The battle was not loud, but full of tension. Every move was important. The aliens tried to find weak spots. The defenders closed every gap. The fight became a game of patience and skill. At one point, the aliens thought they found a way inside the camp. A group moved toward the trenches quickly, but Marcus was ready. He had sent a small team to meet them quietly from behind. The aliens were caught in surprise and had to retreat. The young soldiers were amazed. They saw that strength alone was not enough. They needed the veterans' experience to survive. As the fight went on, the sky changed colors with the coming sunset. The aliens slowly pulled back their forces. They did not win, but they learned a lesson. Earth's defenders were not easy to defeat. Back in the camp, the soldiers gathered. They were tired, but proud. Marcus looked at their faces. "Today you all did well," he said. "This fight was just the first step. We will face more challenges, but remember, we fight with our minds and hearts." The younger soldiers nodded. They felt stronger now. They had seen real battle and survived. They trusted the veterans and their ways. That night, the veterans told stories around the fire. They spoke about past wars, about friends they lost, and about lessons learned the hard way. The young soldiers listened carefully. They knew these stories were more than just words. They were the key to winning the war. Outside the camp, the aliens planned again. They were frustrated but not defeated. "We will find a way," their leader said. "Earth's veterans are strong, but we have many tools. Next time we will surprise them." The war was only beginning, and both sides knew it. The camp was quiet as the morning sun rose slowly over the horizon. The soldiers, both young and old, moved with purpose but a calm that only came after hard battles. The veterans watched carefully. They knew the aliens were not finished. They had felt the weight of the last fight in their bones and knew something bigger was coming. Marcus stood near the edge of the camp, looking out over the open field where the aliens had landed before. His face was lined with years of experience, but his eyes burned with determination. Beside him, a young soldier named Lila adjusted her gear nervously. She had seen the aliens' strength and cleverness, but she trusted the veterans. "We've learned much," Marcus said softly, "but we cannot forget what comes next. The aliens will change their plans." They will try new ways to win. Lila nodded. How do we stop them if they keep changing? Marcus smiled slightly. We adapt. That is what Earth's veterans do best. We use what we learn and stay ready. In the distance, strange signals were picked up by the camp's scanners. The aliens were sending messages, but the veterans worked quickly to decode them. It became clear the aliens were preparing for a large-scale attack, one that would test the defenders' limits. Inside the camp, the younger soldiers gathered in small groups. Some talked quietly about the upcoming fight. Others sat alone, thinking. The veterans moved among them, sharing advice and encouragement. One of the veterans, a woman named Sarah, told stories of old battles where the enemy seemed stronger but was beaten by clever strategy and unity. Her voice was calm and full of wisdom, and the young soldiers listened closely. She reminded them that victory was not about being the strongest, but about being smart and working together. As the day passed, the camp grew busier. Engineers worked on new defenses and the soldiers drilled endlessly. Everyone knew the fight ahead would be different, more difficult. The sun began to set when the alarm sounded. The aliens were moving. From the far hills, a large force was coming toward the camp. The veterans and young soldiers took their positions quickly. Marcus stood with his team near a hidden ridge. He watched the alien troops moving like waves across the field. They were careful and fast, but Earth's defenders had prepared traps and secret paths. The battle would not be simple. The aliens tried to use light signals to confuse the defenders, hoping to break their lines. But the veterans had seen tricks like these before. They signaled back with their own moves, guiding their soldiers through the confusion. Lila, now more confident, led a small group through the narrow paths Marcus had pointed out. They moved quietly, careful not to make a sound. Ahead, they saw alien scouts searching for weaknesses. Using hand signals, Lila's group surrounded the scouts without being noticed. When the scouts realized it was too late, they retreated quickly. The group smiled silently, proud of their success. Meanwhile, on the other side of the camp, Sarah coordinated the defenses. She moved among the soldiers, checking their gear and spirits. She told stories to calm fears and remind them of their strength. The battle stretched on into the night. Neither side gave ground easily. The aliens brought new machines, strange tools that glowed softly in the dark. The defenders used every trick they knew, mixing old tactics with new technology. At one point, the aliens tried to take the camp's water supply. If they succeeded, the defenders would be in trouble. But Marcus and a team of veterans were ready. They moved quickly to block the aliens, using small barriers and careful planning. The aliens paused, surprised by the resistance. They changed course, but Marcus's team was already one step ahead, leading them away from the camp's heart. The night was long and tense. Soldiers on both sides grew tired but did not stop. The veterans reminded the young ones that this fight was about more than just winning. It was about protecting their home, their families, and their future. As dawn broke, the aliens slowly withdrew. They had tested Earth's defenses but had not broken through. The veterans and young soldiers were exhausted but victorious in spirit. Marcus gathered his team. This was only one battle, he said. We showed them we are ready, but we must be ready for more. Lila looked at him, her eyes bright with hope and determination. We will be ready, she said. The camp was quiet again, but everyone knew the war was far from over. Both sides were learning, changing, and preparing for the next encounter, and Earth's veterans were ready to teach the aliens what true courage and skill meant. The early morning mist still clung to the trees. Around the camp, as Earth's defenders prepared once again, the air was thick with anticipation and quiet determination. Everyone knew the coming hours would be critical. The aliens had retreated, but only to gather more strength and plan a new kind of attack. The veterans, wise and steady, moved calmly. Among the young soldiers, their presence a reminder that experience would be the key to survival. Marcus stood in the center of the camp, his eyes scanning the horizon. His voice was low but strong when he spoke to the gathered soldiers. We have shown the aliens that Earth is not an easy target, but this is not the end. They will return with more than just ships and machines. They will try to break our spirit. The younger soldiers listened carefully. Many had never faced such a challenge before. Some looked at Marcus and the other veterans with a mix of awe and hope. They wanted to believe they could protect their home, but the fear of the unknown lingered. Lila stepped forward, her confidence growing each day. She had learned much from the veterans and now felt ready to face whatever came next. "We are ready, Marcus," she said. "We will stand strong together." As the sun climbed higher, the camp was alive with activity. Engineers worked to improve defenses, turning simple materials into clever barriers. Scouts were sent out to gather information, moving quietly through the forests and hills beyond the camp. Every soldier knew their role, and the veterans guided them with quiet wisdom. Suddenly, the camp's alarm sounded, not from an enemy attack, but from an unusual signal. The aliens were attempting something new. Communication. A message came, through, strange and difficult to understand, but clearly meant for Earth's defenders. Marcus and a small group of veterans worked quickly to decode the message. It was a challenge, an invitation of sorts. The aliens wanted to test Earth's warriors not just with weapons but with mind and skill. They proposed a contest, a trial to see who truly understood combat. The news spread through the camp, stirring a mix of curiosity and tension. Some young soldiers were eager to prove themselves. Others were unsure, fearing the unknown nature of this contest. The veterans reminded everyone that this was a chance to show the aliens what Earth's warriors were made of: strength, courage, and intelligence. The day of the contest arrived. The aliens had set up a strange arena, far from the battlefield but designed to test many skills. Earth's representatives, led by Marcus and Lila, entered with steady hearts. They faced puzzles, tests of agility, and challenges of strategy. Each task was difficult, designed to push them beyond their limits. But Earth's defenders worked as a team, combining the wisdom of the veterans with the energy and quick thinking of the younger soldiers. They solved problems the aliens had not expected and adapted to new situations with skill. The contest was long and tiring, but it revealed something important. The strength of Earth's warriors was not only in battle, but in their ability to learn and work together. The aliens watched closely, respect growing in their eyes. At the end of the contest, the aliens sent a message of acknowledgement. They admitted Earth's defenders had earned their respect and that the war was more than just fighting. It was a test of heart and mind. Back in the camp, the soldiers celebrated quietly. They knew this was a victory not won by weapons, but by unity and spirit. Marcus looked at the faces around him, proud and hopeful. The veterans had passed their knowledge to a new generation, and together they had shown the world what it meant to be Earth's defenders. But the war was far from over. The contest was just one part of a larger battle, a battle for survival, respect, and the future of their world. And Earth's warriors were ready to meet every challenge with courage, skill, and a united heart. The air in the camp was thick, with a mix of relief and tension. The contest had ended, and while Earth's defenders had earned respect, they knew the real test was still ahead. Marcus walked among the soldiers, his face serious but calm. The veterans had taught their lessons well, but the future held many unknowns. Lila stood beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon. The young soldiers looked to her now with respect. She had grown from a nervous recruit to a confident leader. Yet, even she felt the weight of what was to come. The aliens had shown their willingness to challenge Earth's defenders in new ways, and it was clear the next encounter would demand everything they had. Suddenly, the camp's scanners picked up a strange signal. It was unlike anything they had seen before, a slow, rhythmic pulse that seemed almost alive. Marcus called the veterans together. "This is not a normal attack signal," he said. "The aliens are sending us something different." The scientists in the camp worked quickly to analyze the signal. They discovered it was a message, but not in any language the defenders knew. Instead, it was a pattern, a series of sounds. and lights that seemed to tell a story. The veterans realized this was another kind of challenge, one that would test their ability to understand and communicate. The camp prepared for what might come next. The veterans taught the younger soldiers how to observe, listen, and think beyond simple commands. They practiced patience and attention to detail, knowing that sometimes the most important battles were fought with the mind. Days passed, and the signal grew stronger. Then, unexpectedly, a small alien ship landed near the camp. It was not a ship of war, but of peace, or so it seemed. From it came an alien who stepped forward with calm hands raised in greeting. Marcus and the veterans met the alien. There was no need for weapons or defenses this time. The alien spoke in a language unknown, but the patterns of light and sound from the signal began to make sense. Slowly, a bridge of understanding was built. The alien explained that their species valued knowledge and honor. The contests and signals were their way of finding worthy opponents and allies. They had never expected Earth's defenders to respond with such strength and wisdom. The camp was filled with mixed feelings. Some soldiers were wary, remembering the long battles and dangers. Others hoped this was the beginning of peace, or at least a truce that would end the fighting. Marcus looked at the alien and said, "We are ready to learn and to protect, but we will never stop defending our home." The alien nodded. "Then let us share what we know and learn from each other." In the days that followed, Earth's defenders and the alien visitor exchanged stories, knowledge, and ideas. The veterans taught the young soldiers about Earth's history and the strength of unity. The alien shared stories of distant worlds and ancient traditions. The camp became a place of learning and hope. The soldiers trained harder not just for war but for the future, one where understanding could lead to lasting peace. Yet, beneath the surface, everyone knew the peace was fragile. The real test was whether both sides could hold to respect and courage when challenges returned. The veterans reminded the young soldiers that courage was not the absence of fear, but the will to face it together. They had seen the worst and the best in war, and knew that the true strength of Earth's defenders came from their hearts and minds united. As night fell over the camp, the stars shone brightly. They were a reminder of the vast universe beyond and the many challenges still waiting. But Earth's defenders were ready to face what came with wisdom, strength, and hope. The story was far from over. The journey continued, and the veterans and young soldiers stood together stronger than ever before. The night air was cool, and the stars above shone like distant beacons in the vast darkness. The camp was quieter now, but the soldiers' hearts beat with steady rhythm. After days of learning and cautious peace, the feeling of calm was fragile. Everyone knew the aliens had more to reveal, and Earth's defenders had to be ready for whatever came next. Marcus walked slowly through the camp, his mind filled with memories of battles past and the lessons learned. Around him, the young soldiers practiced with new energy, their movements sharper, their teamwork stronger. The veterans moved quietly among them, proud but watchful. They understood that true victory was not just about winning battles. It was about building a future where Earth could stand strong. Then a sudden signal interrupted the night's calm. This one was different, clear, urgent, and strong. The camp's leaders gathered quickly to listen. The alien visitor who had been working alongside Earth's defenders shared the message. It was a warning of a new challenge approaching, one that would test every skill, every lesson learned so far. The soldiers prepared, but there was no fear in their eyes. Instead, a quiet determination. They had faced many trials and learned from each one. They were no longer just defenders. They were guardians of their world and hopes. Marcus addressed the gathered soldiers. "We have come far, but this is our greatest test yet. The challenge is real, and it will require all of us, veterans and young soldiers alike, to stand together. Remember, it is not strength alone that wins, but courage, wisdom, and unity." Lila stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. "We are ready. We have learned to listen, to think, and to act with heart. We will face this challenge as one." Dawn broke. The sky was painted in shades of pink and orange. The camp moved with purpose, each soldier knowing their role. Scouts returned with reports of the new force approaching, not with hostility but with a challenge that seemed to blend testing and respect. The aliens brought forward a new type of contest, one of endurance and cooperation. Earth's defenders were tested not just on their skill or strength, but on their ability to work as a team, to solve complex problems, and to show patience under pressure. The trials stretched for hours, moving from one test to another. The young soldiers used their energy and quick thinking, while the veterans offered guidance and steady hands. Every moment was filled with learning, adapting, and growing stronger together. One of the most difficult challenges was a puzzle of light and sound, requiring the team to communicate without words. At first, confusion filled the air, but slowly the soldiers found ways to connect using gestures, expressions, and trust. This test became a symbol of their journey, overcoming differences and working as one. The aliens watched closely, their eyes reflecting surprise and respect. They saw that Earth's defenders were not just warriors, but a united force built on understanding and courage. As the contest ended, the aliens extended a gesture of friendship. It was a sign that they recognized the strength not only of Earth's fighters but of their hearts and minds. Back at camp, Marcus gathered the soldiers. "We have proven that true power comes from unity. This is the strength that will protect Earth not just today but for the future." The veterans smiled quietly. They knew the road ahead would still hold challenges, but they also knew Earth's defenders were ready. The young soldiers had become more than recruits. They were the future of a strong and wise defense. As night returned, the stars seemed brighter than ever. They were a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope and courage could light the way. And so, Earth's defenders stood together, ready for whatever the universe would send next, united in heart, mind, and spirit.